It would still be an understatement to suggest that ranking the best football players of all time is the ultimate subjective endeavor in the history of subjective endeavors. To compare a 21st century athlete to someone from the early 20th century is a virtually impossible task, in no small part down to the fact that very few people have lived to see all 5 players in our own list at their prime. Football needs to get its story straight as the modern game continues to evolve. In an age dominated by Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland and Mohamed Salah, we bring you a list of megastars leagues above even their lofty levels. Kindly, subscribe to my channel Green Blue IB, make comment, like, and share with others. Number 5, Zinedine Zidane. If Ronaldo was the ultimate complete striker, Zidane goes down as the ultimate complete midfielder. The Frenchman boasted an unreal level of technical ability, with all the elegance and grace you wouldn't expect from a 6'1" powerhouse. His touch, as delicate at the grass he strode across, was otherworldly. His control over the ball, mesmeric. His ability to shift through the gears to convert an innocuous reception into the start of a blood-and-guts drive through the field has barely been replicated since. Zidane will go down as one of the greatest dribblers of all time, but his intelligence on the ball added all the more threat to his attacks. He wasn't going to run out of road or ideas, he made clinical decisions with consistency, and the ball would find a teammate or the back of the net more often than not. In terms of sheer achievements, Zidane's trophy cabinet is surprisingly not as full as you might expect, but everything is in there at least once. The World Cup, the Euros, La Liga, Serie A, the Champions League. But silverware isn't the ultimate metric of greatness. The level of fear he'd strike into every opponent in his path? That's a hallmark of greatness. Number 4, Pelé. All of Brazilian football is geared towards embodying the spirit of Pelé. Anything you've ever seen a Brazilian footballer do well, it is because Pelé has done it before them. He is arguably the greatest ever player on the international stage with 77 goals for Brazil in just 92 games with 3 World Cups to his name. Pelé's legacy is an interesting one. There are those who scrunch up their faces at Pelé's records, most particularly his claimed 1,281 goals in 1,363 games line, when in fact a tranche of those games were exhibition showpieces against far weaker opposition. However, his record excluding those games remains immense. He notched a reported 643 goals for Santos in 659 games across an 18-year spell before taking his talents to the US with New York Cosmos to wrap up his career. Many use the fact he never played regularly in Europe as a stick to beat Pelé with, but his international record speaks volumes about his talent in any context. His devastating pace and deadly accurate finishing were simply too much for some of the world's greatest defenses at the time, and would likely be too much for them today at his prime. Number 3, Cristiano Ronaldo. To fully appreciate Ronaldo's greatness, you need to zoom out and not let his shambolic 2022 antics cloud your judgment of him. In time, once his career is all said and done, Cristiano will have more than earned his seat at the top table of all-time greats. I know I said stats aren't everything, and trophies aren't everything, but when they are largely the result of one man, the most ferocious competitor in the history of football, they become incredibly difficult to ignore. Ronaldo has lit up the Premier League, La Liga and Serie A, claiming each nation's domestic title and cup trophy. He boasts 5 Champions League titles across 2 teams and lifted the European Championship trophy with Portugal. In each of those seasons, in every triumph, Ronaldo will have produced a clutch moment of brilliance. Last-minute penalties? No problem. Thunderous strikes against the run of play. Sordid. Fire and brimstone performances that could turn the tide against the odds. Done. Ronaldo's career has been a masterclass in winning. His never-say-die attitude and matchday mentality at his prime was unrivaled. The 37-year-old's inability to age gracefully should not detract from 2 decades of mounting evidence to suggest he will go down as the greatest European footballer of all time. Number 2, Diego Maradona. Rarely is a player deified in the way Maradona has been by fans on both sides of the Atlantic. Argentina is awash with tributes to their greatest son, while the streets of Naples, Italy remain awash with Maradonaism in response to their icon, their legend, their saint. The diminutive Argentine forward boasted a low center of gravity and the outrageous technical ability that could see him drift by players in unstoppable fashion. Maradona's intensity and direct running ability made him a menace for all who dared oppose him. This intensity not only struck fear into the hearts of opposition, but it emboldened teammates around him to raise their level, like an army general in the heat of battle. Maradona's trophy cabinet is surprisingly bare for a player many still feel is the greatest footballer of all time. One league title in Argentina, none with Barcelona. You'd be forgiven for wondering, is that it? Though it's the manner of the trophies he did win that live long in the memory. Napoli were a middling, solid yet unspectacular entity in Serie A before Maradona arrived from Barcelona. Within 5 years of his presence, they won the league twice and capped it off with the UEFA Cup, all while winning the World Cup with Argentina, the last time they have done so. Maradona's legendary dribbling skills, vision, marksman-like passing ability and raw desire to win completely transformed Napoli and Argentinian football. He dragged them to success, kicking and screaming. A one-man army. Number 1, Lionel Messi. There's not a lot to be said that hasn't already been said about Lionel Messi, but I'm going to try. We'll get the stats out of the way first. Messi has bagged 791 goals and 350 assists in 1,002 games for club and country. That works out at 72 minutes per goal contribution. Every 72 minutes. Across an 18-year career. Many elite players are figured out, they're sussed, they enjoy a few seasons in the sun before someone cracks the code and neutralizes them. Not Messi, never Messi. Messi has adapted throughout his career, mainly to accommodate his gentle deceleration, but the end product has always remained the same. His touch is extraordinary, applying the correct weight to every delicate tap like a fine artist working on their masterpiece. The ball sticks to his feet, under his spell, and his measured passing ability is simply the greatest of all time. Nobody has or will ever split a defense quite like Lionel Messi. When he doesn't feel like passing through you, the Argentine megastar will simply turn the world's greatest defenders inside out. He has pulled many of them around like rag dolls in front of their families. He leaves few prisoners. And at the end of those runs, he has shown great selflessness in the past to cut the ball back with pin-sharp accuracy, or he'll slide, dink, or flick the ball over the keeper. In every great chance he creates, Messi effectively gives himself a multiple-choice question about how he'd like to score in that given moment. It's not about whether he'll find the net, it's about how. All that combines to say, Lionel Messi boasts the purest form of magic that makes us all love football in the first place. Simply, he chisels a smile on your face while watching him. It has been a privilege, and will continue to be a privilege until the day he hangs up his boots. The certified, undisputed greatest of all time. Thank you for watching.